back in pads today, and I thought the tempo and urgency was outstanding. It was good to see the guys fly around and make some contact. We're in the process right now of just really trying to, simplify things in all three phases, but play fast at the same time. So with that, I'll take your questions.
Do you have an update on what your quarterback situation is looking like?
Right now, PJ took all the snaps today. Baker's day-to-day. He's making progress, and after talking to him this morning, he feels like he may have a chance this weekend. So we'll see how it goes.
Do you expect to have J.C. Horn on Sunday?
It's a possibility. Again, we had pads today, so I didn't want him to go out and make any contact with the ribs. But so he had today off, and we'll see exactly how he is tomorrow.
And then, so it is ribs because they announced hip at the game.
It's pretty much the same area, hip, ribs right there. So we just want to make sure we're going to protect him. So that's the reason why he didn't go today.
Okay. And then have you made any changes in practice, something that anyone would recognize, being now that you're in charge?
It's not really the changes. It's really the tempo and the urgency, that we tried to create today. And that's the reason why I flipped the pads. We normally go pads on Thursday. I wanted to start the week out the right way and get it back to being pads on Wednesday so we can create a good tempo in practice, which we did.
Steve, any update on Darnold?
Not yet. We talked this morning. There's a possibility that he could be cleared next week, which is encouraging. I think he's right on schedule mentally with himself for his ready to get back. So hopefully that'll be the case.
And if it is PJ, how confident are you both in him, but also Eason as the apparent backup?
I'm confident in PJ, and I think the players are very confident in PJ as well. As coaches, we got to help PJ just like we would help Baker as well as Sam, in creating different scenarios for him. As I mentioned the other day, it's 11 guys out there, and I just can't ask one guy to go win the football game. So PJ had a great day of practice. Accuracy was on point. Did a great job commanding and leading the huddle and getting guys in and out. So I'm encouraged. Eason, didn't really get a lot of reps today. We wanted PJ to get all the ones. He serves the scout team, but he looked efficient when he was doing it.
You didn't make any transactions the last couple of days. Why was it important to have this roster as it was heading into this week?
Well, I'm very confident in the guys that we have. And there's times, once again, as I talk to Scott, the first place I want to go is the practice squad. That's the reason why we create quality guys there and we keep them, because we feel like we're grooming them to be starters. And they understand the system, most importantly, the culture that we're trying to create, as you saw last week with Justin Burris being able to get pulled up and ready to play.
I heard when you were with the Cardinals, you did a really good job of connecting with everybody, even on the practice squad. Why is that unit so important?
I think everybody in this organization, particularly as this team, as you asked about this team, has a vital role, and it's so important as we talk about practice squad players, making sure that, they're future starters. And, we want to make sure that we build a relationship with them, and we give those guys that extra coaching and teaching outside of the normal practice.
Steve, with Baker, last time when you were the defensive coordinator back in 17, you learning to play fast with that aggressive nature and blitz a whole lot more. How much is that fast and aggressiveness in part of your DNA as how you want a team to be?
I think you're right on when you talk about DNA. We talked about that this morning in the team meeting, is that we want to be aggressive in all three phases. You mentioned, my philosophy on defense. I'm going to take that same approach on the offensive side of the ball. We're not going to sit back and react to the defense. We want to put pressure on them and have them react to us and mix things in, whether it's inside, outside on the perimeter, and then trying to go over the top.
Yesterday you mentioned that you just got to execute, and that'll turn hopefully into wins. The first 5 weeks, third down offense has been bad. It's the worst in the NFL. Matt kept saying, you got to fix it, you got to fix it, you got to fix it. What can you tangibly do to make that next stride? I
think the number one thing you have to do, you got to win on first and second down. You got to put yourself in a situation to where you're not third and long. And that's our philosophy on the defensive side as well. Trying to create negative plays on first and second down so we can get the opponent in the third and long. Offensively, it's just the opposite. We got to create positive plays. All right, so we living in 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and not 3rd and 12.
So
We did see that though against the Cardinals, and it still was an issue to not be able to convert on third and short.
Well, it goes back once again just to be able to execute and finish. So I think again is the scheme that we're trying to operate within that week, trying to simplify things and make sure that we have easy, quick throws on the perimeter, and the quarterback progression is good to where if it's not there, he can hit the check down.
Steve, what would you have to see out? You said Baker was day-to-day. What would you have to see out of him for him to be active this week?
Well, I have a history with Baker. He's very physical, very tough guy, mentally tough as well. So I trust his judgment, and we would work him out as a, the trainers will, and then I would see exactly where he is mentally with McAdoo, in order to put him up. I definitely would put him in harm's way.
Steve, would you definitely need to see him on the practice field this week, outside of a workout, just getting reps with the team in order to play him Sunday, or is that not?
I think it's important that he has the reps and the timing, so he can go out there and execute and be, as we always talk about, 1 of 11. So it would be hard for me to put him out there this week if he doesn't practice.
Given the West Coast trip, are you planning anything different from a travel standpoint?
No, not really. The one thing we've been talking about all week, starting today, was, hydration. We're going to do certain things before we leave, before we get on the plane. There's certain things that we would do while we're on the plane, trying to limit the guys for sleeping. And once we get out there, we're going to stay on the East Coast schedule. So I'll move the meetings up early, and curfew will be early as well.
Steve, when you talk to the team about the Los Angeles Rams, what do you tell them in the sense of the style or type of team they're preparing for?
Well, number one, you're talking about Super Bowl champs. McVay does a tremendous job in his preparation and getting his guys ready to play. These guys are talented across the board. Kupp is one of the best dynamic receivers in the league. Higbee is still a very efficient tight end that can, get open and beat the one-on-ones. The quarterback, to me, is still playing at a high level. And then when you go on the defensive side of the ball, you're talking about a future Hall of Famer in Donald. And we got to do a great job in really trying to neutralize him if we can, because he's just so dominant. And you talk about one of the top corners in the league as well with Ramsey. So they got a lot of talent, and I told our guys we got a lot of talent too.
Steve, if it is PJ, he's 2-0 as a starter here, but he also certainly has a reputation of ripping it around the field, sometimes to his detriment, but he is a risk taker. So I wonder if you could just evaluate what you'd want out of him someday.
Well, this is one of those situations to where you're sitting where we are right now in the season, and everybody could start pressing, and trying to do things outside the system. So I foresee that, and that's been part of my conversation this week, is that we don't need one guy to go win the football game. Just do what we ask you to do. All right, execute. If it's not there, throw the check down. If I'm ready to get a sack, throw it away. Let's line up and let's play the next down. So hopefully he's going to take heed to that and don't try to press it and play within the system, and we'll see exactly what happens.
What would you say your career, starting way back in high school, it's been about overcoming odds?
I think it's always about overcoming odds, in so many different type situations. But I feel like I was groomed well from a foundation with my family, and I believe in hard work pays off. So that's always been my philosophy.
How did your day change today compared to last Wednesday?
I was more focused on the defensive side of the ball, prepping to get my guys ready. And then now you have the whole scope of the team, and just trying to make sure I'm bouncing in and out of different meetings, making sure that my presence is there. Most importantly, I understand and know exactly what we're doing in all three phases. I want to be able to see it and make sure guys are locked in. Dealing with you guys, is another thing as well. But it's been good. But the thing with me, I've been there before, so I understand the routine and the things you got to do at this position.
To that point, we would occasionally hear Matt say that he didn't know all the ancillary things that would be required of a head coach at this level. How much of a benefit is it for you, an advantage, that you've done it?
I think experience is a lot, because you can draw back on that. I think it's the way you try to structure things as well, and make sure that before we come downstairs, the open line of communication is there for us exactly what we're doing in these type of situations. So I talk to the coordinators quite a bit and understanding exactly what we want and giving them my input on how I see things.
Steve, to that point, with shifting goals the week of the game, I mean, what are the challenges for the staff to be ready for, how you want to manage the game, the communication on Sunday, given, a few days to be together in these rules?
Well, I think that comes really the latter part of the week. I will meet with analytics tomorrow. I'll circle back with the coaching staff on Friday, and we'll start talking about certain situations in the game. Well, we know weather's not going to be an issue. Do we want to defer if we win? Those kind of things. We want to be aggressive on fourth down. All that goes into play based off the things that we come up with. So we will have that meeting myself with them tomorrow, and then I'll circle back with the coaches on Friday so we can have some clarity.
Steve, what went into the decision to change padded practices from Thursday to Wednesday?
Well, we talked about a mindset of really trying to control the line of scrimmage. And on the first day, regular routine of an NFL schedule, you put in first and second down. So we're going to have that mindset. I wanted to make sure that we had the pads on the day so we can really, emphasize that.
Will it be like that again next week, pads on Wednesday?
Yes.
Steve, you mentioned the practice squad. Some guys you may want to look at. With the secondary, you got some guys beat up on in the injury report. Is that an area that you can see pulling up some guys and giving them a look?
That's exactly where we're going to look first, as I stated before. Hopefully we can get some of these guys back at the latter part of the week. But if not, these guys prepare themselves each and every week as if they're going to start. And I keep going back to the example this past week with Justin Burris. He, got plugged in, had an opportunity right there to get an interception. So he played well last week. And hopefully if it happens again, we can pull some other guys up that can do the same.
Steve, go ahead, Darren.
I was just going to say, with Eason, how much actual work in a team setting has he had while he's been here? I mean, and how comfortable would you be if you got into a pinch and he needed to go in there?
I don't think you can ever judge or your comfort level, because this is NFL. Things happen. Guys go down. I've been in situations where offensive lineman went down. You had to put a tight end at tackle. So, we can't call timeout and just get back on the plane. So if things happen, he's going to have to go in there and execute. He's been in the meetings. He understands exactly what we're trying to get done at that position. And again, we can't sit here and try to put a lot on his plate. We got to simplify things if you go in the game.
Every head coach wants to have their culture at the building. How tough is it to implement your culture mid-season, albeit still early in the season? And what would you like to implement into that locker room and have your culture be?
I think anybody in here who's a parent, I think you would understand that your culture comes from your demeanor, and how you carry yourself. So I'm very aggressive. I'm straight to the point. I like to have fun at times, but I bring it back in. So the guys understand my personality. But most importantly, when we're out there on the field, we're going to work, and that's what we did today. And there's certain times we ran the play over again because it wasn't right, and how I like it to be ran. So that's going to be my philosophy every time. We're going to do it the right way.
Where do you see the opportunity in that next game coming against the defending Super Bowl champion?
It's an opportunity for us, number one, and I know it's the Rams, but whomever it would be, it's just an opportunity for us to go win a football game. We got to find a way to win in the fourth quarter. I think we've been playing so well the first three quarters, and all of a sudden we just go flat. So for whatever reason, we got to dig deep down and find the answers and create a mentality, as I said before, finishing. So we're hoping to get that done this week.
Steve, yesterday you said that Coach Evan Cooper would take an increased role in the secondary. What is it about Evan that you've seen that allowed him to earn that trust?
Trust is definitely key to me. He's very smart. He works hard at his craft. The guys respect him. He's very detailed in what he's doing. And, I always look for coaches that, number one, are great communicators, that are outstanding teachers, and that know how to develop players. And he fits that trait of all three.
Everybody good?
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Coach.